Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Harry Muppet. Welcome back to the Hairy Bash number 3 Grand Final. So we are here. We're going to be seeing the best of the best in the tournament go off against each other. And one of these players is not a Zerg, which is very exciting because it's a definite difference from the past Hairy Bash tournaments we have cast. But the same person who has been in the last 2 Grand Finals and has won both Grand Finals is right here down the bottom left side of the map. It is Petraeus. He is from Root Gaming and he is freaking awesome, man. Just absolutely piled through all of the competition so far. 2-0 against Hart, the Terran player. 2-0 against Iaguz, the Terran player as well. He's just been owning everything, and now he is up against a different sort of player. First of all, it's Protoss, and I don't know if he's actually beaten a Protoss player in this tournament so far. Who did he beat? He beat Frustration all the way back in the round of 16. I'm not sure what race he is, but potentially this could be the first Protoss he's played in this tournament. And yeah, it is going to be Mr. Arthur down the bottom right hand side of the map, who has been kicking Zerg ass all over the place. He beat Petrify in the quarterfinals, and he beat King Kong in the quarterfinals, sorry, and beat Petrify in the semi-finals. Had a bit of problems against Petrify in game 1, I think it was, where Petrify went for an extremely fast Ling speed attack, but came back games 2 and 3 and just started owning all over the place. So yeah, Arthur, how is he going to do against Petraeus? I mean, Arthur is definitely one of the best, but Petraeus is arguably the best in this tournament, so it's going to be interesting to see how it goes. We do have Petraeus going for an extremely fast third base. Not worried at all about any sort of early play from Arthur. And yeah, on this base, I mean on this map, this is the map with a very easy to hold third base, so you'd be crazy not to go for 3 bases nice and early. But he's actually done it before he's actually got the spawning pool down, which is interesting, but still relatively safe, I'd say. So yeah, he's going to be fine here. We do have the expansion coming down for Mr. Arthur pretty early as well. Although this is not super early. I mean, he's already got his Cyber Core down. He's building a Stargate as well, so he could have built that expansion a lot earlier and a lot safer. I mean, straight after the gate where you can pretty much put the expansion down on this map. But he chose to wait until he had his Stargate up before going that. He obviously wants to do some very, very early either Oracle pushes or really push out with early Oracles. Sorry, not Oracles, Phoenix. He wants to get an early Phoenix army. One or the other would be my guess. And if I had to make a guess, I would say Phoenix. I would say Phoenix are going to be the way to go because Oracles are just, nah. Yeah, so there we go. There's a Phoenix coming out, and I'm sure there will be many more to come. So Arthur, doing a nice scout, does see where the base is. Look at this Zergling slowly getting closer. So Zergling's obviously a little bit fast. If you watch closely, you can see he's gradually closing the distance right there. So just a tiny bit faster, but the probe just regenerates health regenerates shield so quickly that this guy, there he goes, turning around in the corner. Very, very nice. If you do a sharp turn, then the Ling does get a couple more hits in. So very, very nice job. Going to be Ling that guy all the way back. However, it looks like Petraeus did have another Ling in there, already getting a bit of a scout, so he's obviously seen quite a bit of stuff. He's actually seen quite a bit of stuff over here. There we go. The probe going to be using the mineral trick to get past. The Lings are going to get owned all over here, and the Phoenix are starting to come out on the map, pretty close to the Queens actually. So this Overlord is probably going to die, but yeah, that Phoenix actually taking life damage this early in the game. So Petraeus getting a nice couple of hits with Queens, but I don't know. He knows there are Phoenix out of the map right now, so he can get Spore Crawlers all over the place. Do a great job. He's already got one over here, maybe another one on this side. Would not be a bad idea. Simply because it's so hard to defend all of that gas all at the same time. So here he goes. The pylon is coming down. We do have Warp Gate Tech already, so Arthur has made sure to get that nice and early. The Phoenix in the top left side of the map, which is still relatively defended, but they can snipe this Overlord fairly easily. Although they really need more Phoenix numbers if they want to absolutely shred Overlords as fast as they possibly can. Looks like Petraeus is going for a Roach Warren. So it looks like he wants to put out some early ground pressure. Oh, this Phoenix, man. Totally going the wrong way. Completely flies over everything and ends up almost dead for its troubles. Not good at all. And I suppose he's got a rally point set on the other Phoenix, which is not the best of ideas in certain circumstances. Here we go. The Ling's coming on out. Arthur should be able to hold him out. He's got a Zealot Sentry, which can kill like a ton of Lings, as long as he's fine there. He's morphing in most of his Zealots over here. And the Queens are going to have a problem dealing with those. But Petraeus is building Roaches. Does not currently have any on the map, but he's building a bunch here. And the Zealots coming in. So it's basically Petraeus just needs to hold on for another 20 seconds, 10 seconds, something like that. The Zealots are actually going for the spawning pool. This is a very, very important tech-related building. And if he can destroy that, then it's not going to be good news for Mr. Petraeus. He has taken it out. And he's already building the lair, so maybe it's not going to matter. Maybe the lair is the only requirement he needs for those other buildings, but man, I don't know, man. I think he's going to have to build one of those ASAP. I mean, he can't build Lings at the moment, and he definitely does need Lings for some things. I mean, he can't just not build Lings for the rest of the game. He's definitely got to do that, so I'd expect him to be getting a spawning pool out ASAP. Meanwhile, the Mothership Core bumping over here, trying to hide the pylon maybe by standing in front of it. The Lings are not fooled, and they're attacking the pylon right there. And yeah, Phoenix taking out, is that their first roach? I am not sure. Yes, there's the first roach that has gone down. Here come a bunch of other roaches, and Arthur sees them and is going to have a lot of fun taking them all out. So most of these guys will probably be dead by the time they get there. And Petraeus, not sure what he's planning on doing right here. He's moving out. I mean, they are going to slowly go down, but there's an Immortal that's just come out of the robotics facility, so these guys are going to be pretty useless by the time they get over there. I mean, you have never seen 6 roaches take out an Immortal in your entire life. It's pretty much impossible, and with Phoenix on the map as well, it's just not going to happen. So these 4 are just going to run on back. They did see that there's no third base, but the third base is just about to come down. So there it goes. We've still got our Otis here, actually, over here, probably dropping stuff down. Left, right, and center. So there we go. Petraeus with a lead in the worker numbers. Just a little bit of a lead, but very decent. So both players working hard on their macro. It is paying off very nicely. The Overseer going to get taken out here. And we do have Hydralisk coming out. Arthur is producing Colossus. So it looks like it's going to be a massive ground-based battle versus these 2 guys. And it's going to be interesting to see how this turns out, because of course Arthur does have, he's only actually building his first Colossus, so he's not as far ahead on the tech as I thought he might be. Petraeus getting Infestor Pit as well, Infestation Pit, and he's got the spawning pool back up, which is very nice. Building a crap ton of Hydras, and I think time is favouring Petraeus. He's favoured at the moment because he can build so many Hydras. And if he moves out right now with 18 Hydras, he can do a lot of damage. But the more time that goes on, the more Arthur is going to be able to produce his Colossus. And once he starts producing Colossus constantly, and he gets like 3 or 4 up, then he is going to be in a great situation. Actually needs to build a Colossus right now. Forget the Immortal, there are Hydras everywhere, you need Colossus. So I would not be surprised to see that cancelled and a Colossus being built, because one Colossus right here is not going to be able to cut the bacon right here. I mean, it's just too many Hydras. He is pulling back, so he has seen the forces, and obviously he doesn't like what he's seeing here. But still, I mean, with that many Hydras, the only thing really good against Hydras right here are the Colossus. I mean, Zealots with legs are not too bad. They're not super great at killing Hydras, but they're not bad. And they get in nice and close really fast. And importantly, they keep the Hydras from attacking anything else, and they soak up a lot of damage. And they're cheap. You send a whole bunch of Zealots out there, they run at the Hydras, they soak up so much Hydra DPS, which would otherwise be shredding Stalkers and shredding Immortals and shredding Colossus and all those other sort of units that go down stupidly fast to mass Hydras. Zealots do soak up a lot of that damage. They eventually go down, but they do buy the rest of the forces quite a lot of time, and I am absolutely flabbergasted that Arthur is not continuing to build Colossus. He's got a single Colossus so far. He's facing a ton of Hydralisk. He must know he's facing a ton of Hydralisk at this point. He's not continuing to build the Hydralisk. I don't know. I don't know what the deal is, man. I mean, if he doesn't like Hydras to go against, if he doesn't like Colossus to go against Hydras, because maybe he's worried about Vipers, which there are a few coming out, then at least start working on storms. At least get a Templar Archives out there, start researching storms, but has chosen not to. And it looks like it may be a moot point because we're going to a base race right here. But Arthur coming out, and Petraeus has just pulled ahead so far. He's 78 over 56. He's got a maxed out army. He's got Vipers coming out. Let's get the zoom out here, and he's moving on in. I think Petraeus will be eventually able to hold here. Eventually. I mean, he's producing so many units, it's not even funny. I can't see how he won't eventually be able to take these guys out. I mean, it's going to take a while. Arthur is doing a ton of damage, and he is actually sending a bunch of units back here, so maybe, I'm not sure, where are all the forces from Petraeus? They're getting massively owned right here. So maybe I've got this the other way around. Maybe Petraeus is in the bad position right now. Arthur is looking pretty good. He's starting to take a bit more damage. All the reinforcements are getting force fielded outside his base. The Colossus goes a little bit too close. The main army does get sniped out. And suddenly Arthur is looking a lot worse off. The last sentry just got destroyed. And these forces are basically dead. Didn't manage to kill anything major. But I suppose the same could be said for Petraeus' forces. Although they did take out this base, which is pretty awesome. Arthur did not even manage that. Did not kill a single base, which is surprising. He went straight into the expansion. I suppose he wanted to cut off this, but he could have killed this base and still cut off that side. So I don't know what the deal is. But we've got another major engagement here. However, ton of Hydras and the Viper Cloud versus no Colossus. I mean, Arthur is not going to win that battle. I don't see how he possibly can. He does have Stalkers, but they've got no weapons upgrades. And we know that Stalkers are really good early game when they have weapons upgrades. Meanwhile, the Hydras do have one attack. And yeah, they're doing a great job. The force fields can't keep them from completely shooting Arthur. He's trying to keep them as far back as possible. Petraeus just moves around the other side. And Arthur does decide to back off right here. But he really, really needs to get his unit composition up. Because Stalkers with 0 attack upgrades are not going to cut it for long. Petraeus is going to get a ton of Hydras, and he's just going to start cleaning them up right here. Here he goes, the engagement going on right here. I mean, the Stalkers, they got Blink, and Arthur is using Blink Micro pretty nice, but the Immortals don't have Blink, and they're going to go down very, very fast to the Hydra fire. They're right at the front. Stalker's actually blinking in. Arthur thinks he has the numbers right here, and he's starting to look a little bit okay. A little bit better than he did 5 seconds ago, so this is nice, but the Hydras are still doing a lot of damage right here. They're just taking out so many units, and Arthur may be pushing with just a crap ton of numbers, but he's still losing so much, so it's not an overwhelming force by any stretch of the imagination. He's taken so much damage. He is so close to getting owned here. The last Immortal just about to die, and Petraeus pushing back. He's got the macro to keep a ton of Hydras coming out on the map, and Arthur has got a decent macro as well, but let's face it, it's not as good as the Zerg players. And now it's just a to and fro, and with 2 weapons on the way from Petraeus, I really don't see Arthur winning this in the long run. He needs the tech options to face off against the Hydras. He has not gone for them. And there we go. Eventually just gave the GG. He saw he wasn't going to win that battle, and I don't know. I mean, I got to say, the fact that he didn't really push the Colossus macro when he had the chance is, to me, is just, I don't know. I mean, you need something to go against Hydras. You can't go out with mass Stalkers and expect to beat mass Hydras. It just doesn't work. So, yeah, he had 1 Colossus, didn't build any more. And, yeah, the base race was sort of okay. Both players did okay at defending, but the fact is Arthur defended his own base exceptionally well. Other than losing the 3rd base, he defended this gap exceptionally well. But on the flip side, he went in and he didn't actually do anything. He hit this base a bit, and then he moved in and decided to attack some stuff over here. And he got this base down to half. And he got this base down to half, but he didn't actually kill anything. And he ended up losing a fair amount of his forces. And once both players lost a lot of their forces, I mean, the macro just kicked in for Petraeus, and he just out-macroed his way to a win. And the fact that he was running Hydras and Arthur was running Stalkers just made it pretty much inevitable that Petraeus was going to take the win eventually. So, Arthur, I don't know, man. I mean, he's got to think of something there. I mean, he's got to think of something, and I think he's just got to focus a bit more, because Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just Stalkers versus Hydras. I mean, I can't get over that. It just doesn't seem like a very good plan, but he went for it anyway. So I don't know what the deal is. So anyway, we will see in game number 2 if he starts to get into the rhythm of it. Yeah, we'll check it out then. So this has been Harry Muppet. Hope you enjoyed this game.